Hello and welcome to Future Self Dreaming. My name is Carlos Kukulkan. Over the years I've developed a real passion for men's work. Some of my passion for men's work has developed as a result of having a male mentor come into my life during my early 20s who assisted me with a lot of emotional healing that I needed at that time. Some of it came as a result of 9 years of trauma-informed care as a residential youth worker and witnessing the early developmental impact of children exposed to trauma. Some passion has come as a result of being involved in men's groups and workshops. Some passion has come as a result of a clinical counselling placement at a men's agency that specialised in dealing with issues pertinent to men specifically. And some of my passion is derived from being an uncle and a role model to young people. Over the years I've been introduced to many books about men's development, the likes of King, Warrior, Magician, Lover that explores the primary archetypes of the male psyche. Other books that were influential were classics, the likes of Iron John by Robert Bly, David Deidter's The Way of the Superior Man, and Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy. Studying counselling and the developmental stages of life at university also impacted my understanding of men's development. And then, in more recent years, the texts that have had the most impact on me have been the work of Rollo Tomassi, known as The Rational Male. This series of books by Rollo Tomassi helped me put a lot into perspective about my own experiences of intersexual relating throughout my life to this particular juncture in my own developmental stage. One of the most deeply impactful experiences that has motivated my passion for men's work was when I did my clinical placement for counselling at a men's support agency and was able to directly encounter the various factors that negatively impact men's lives, much of these being the result of the intimate relationships that they have with women. As I see it, there is a deep crisis within the development of healthy masculinity within our society, and there are many factors that can be examined in relation to the reason for this, such as the desecration of indigenous ways of knowing, resulting in the termination of essential rites of passage and initiations at appropriate points of psychological and societal development. The Industrial Revolution has further separated generations of men, combined with the rise of the feminist movement that has morphed into today's politically correct propaganda in regards to gender equality and the systematic feminization of men. So with that in mind, today I wanted to start an ongoing series of presentations about topics from the body of work developed by Rollo Tomassi known as The Rational Male. I want to be clear from the outset to acknowledge Rollo and his work and will attempt to reference it whenever I use it. I want to use this model to elaborate on my own experiences and those of others that I've encountered as a counsellor as examples of the concepts that Rollo defines in the Rational Male series. Largely, my intention with presenting this work is to help men understand many of the potential pitfalls that they may encounter throughout the stages of life in their intersexual relating. I've experienced firsthand the damage that can occur as a result of being in a toxic relationship and feeling that it's essential to develop a healthy sense of self and form as a form of psychic self-defense with which to create boundaries from toxic people. As mentioned, when attaining my counselling degree, one of the subjects that I studied was the developmental phases across the course of the lifespan. However, what was sorely lacking within that study was the nature of intersexual dynamics. From my perspective, this is largely due to the politically correct landscape of the academic community that does not want to offend anyone with opinions that may not conform to the gender-correct, socially sanctioned feminine primary landscape. Sometimes, with the course of life, it can be helpful to reflect back upon what your current self would have to say to your younger self, as well as what your future self may wish for you to understand if it could pass a message through time. It can be helpful reflecting on the past and assessing our failures so that we can avoid them and make better choices moving forward in life. It may be harder to listen to your future self because we haven't yet had the developmental stage of life. However, one of the best ways to do that is to listen to the wisdom of those older than you with more life experience, to learn from them so that you can be more mindful of the potential pitfalls that you may potentially encounter in life. I wish that I'd had a male figure introduce me to the concepts outlined in The Rational Male 25 years ago, and that's why I'm promoting it to other young men as a means of overcoming their own ignorance of intersexual dynamics and female psychology and female behaviour. I'm immensely thankful for the older mentors that I've had along my own journey, and I feel privileged when I can perhaps have some type of influence in a younger person's development. Counselling and life coaching can certainly benefit from lived experience and the understanding that this may bring when empathising with another person's suffering. Unfortunately, the counselling field seems to be overly dominated by women who have no actual understanding of the challenges faced by men, nor the capacity to empathise with these men's experiences. For some issues in life, it's simply better to have women deal with women's business and men deal with men's business. And from first-hand experience within the counselling arena, there is an unconscious bias and stereotype that assumes a position that men are perpetrators and women are victims, and this could not be further from the truth. In relation to the community that has formed around the concepts presented in the body of work known as the rational male, loosely known as the manosphere, there is a metaphor taken from the Matrix movies to describe the conditioning and deprogramming of the mind in relation to intersexual dynamics, by using the analogy of the blue pill and the red pill. The phases of deconstruction of the mind from the feminized social conditioning that most are not aware that they have been indoctrinated with are the same as those found in the process of grief that I've outlined many times in previous presentations. In future presentations, I'll continue to explore themes from the perspective of the rational male and looking at intersexual relational dynamics from a masculine red pill lens. For more information on counselling sessions, you can explore the website futureselfdreaming.com and follow on Facebook and Instagram Future Self Dreaming. In Lakesh.